Okay.
All right, so we are online now.
Hi.
Hi everyone. At the moment, it's only two of us. Let me just say ex-Muslim, Scandinavia. I'm gonna send you the link as well, so you can share it on your Facebook or anywhere that you want. Ahmed, where did you go? Hi the pals. Welcome to the seminar. سلام دوستان، خیلی خوش اومدید. I'm not really sure how many people are in there. Please put me comments so I will see how many people is watching at the moment. Shaheen Aziz, Salam Shaheen Jan. Hi Shaheen, welcome to the seminar. Atiye Azizam, عشق من Ati. Salam Ati Jun. Ati is also here. Ahmed was here. Ahmed is gone. I don't know where. Ahmed, where are you? Ahmed, can you hear me?
Just yeah. I can hear you, but I don't know what happened with the video. I just got a phone call. I canceled.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to get the video back.
If you like,
I
I can send you
on the video. It should be.
Yeah, I can send you the link again so you can come to the studio and try it one more time. Let me just copy the link. Hi, the people. It's 5 people watching at the moment. We're waiting for Ahmed to sort out the problem with the camera. Fine. All right then, guys. The seminar will be around 1 hour. We're gonna talk about the right of blasphemy, and then we discuss the situation of Amna, and then we talk about the role of medias, the way that they censor atheists, ex-Muslims, and then we continue to the conclusion. So hopefully it's going to be 1 hour. Jenny, the founder of Femen in Sweden, promised me to join the seminar. So I'm hoping that she would come and talk a bit. We're still waiting for her. I think Ahmed is back to the studio. Just wait for a second. Yep, I think Ahmed is back. Yeah, hi there, Ahmed. Welcome back. I have your video.
Great.
I have your voice.
Sorry.
Everything's all right. No, it's all right, man. It's okay.
Great.
All right, then. I think we can start. 4 people watching at the moment. First of all, this is me. Okay, hi everyone. This is Milad Rasai, Central Committee of Ex-Muslim in Scandinavia spokesperson. I'm very pleased to have you all. In this program, this is the first live program we have in English. We have a very special guest, Amna Al-Sharghi from Germany, join us in this seminar. I'm very pleased that me and Ahmed will be the hosts of this seminar. First things first, hi Ahmed, welcome to the seminar.
Hi, and thank you for the invite.
Thank you for being here. As you guys most probably know, we're here today to talk about the situation Amna Al-Sharghi, the Tunisian girl, is facing at the moment. Amna made Quran verses called Corona. So basically, she was trying to prove, I mean, that's my perception, She was trying to prove that Quran is not unique and it can be written by like people or like normal lads like me and you. So some of these Islamists, they were sort of pissed about the things that she were doing. They said like sort of like insulting the Quran and the holy rituals Islamists have. So as far as I know, Amna is in prison now. They arrested her, so I can guess she's not having a great situation at the moment. The first topic would be we would like to talk about the right of blasphemy. Like, as we always said at Central Committee of Ex-Muslim in Scandinavia, like the right of blasphemy is one fundamental human rights that everyone should recognize it. So basically, Amna Al-Sharghi, the Tunisian girl, has done nothing wrong. She has to be free. It's up to Tunisian government, it's up to Tunisian police to make sure that Amna stays safe from the threats she has been receiving from the Islamists. So I think that was like a kind of opening for this seminar. First of all, Ahmed, what do you think about the whole news, the whole situation of Amna?
Uh, Honestly, it's just totally crazy, just like all other cases we've seen it. First, I thought, first it was one of the best, funniest thing I seen it in the last while on the internet, and suddenly there was the news that she's having trouble and she's receiving death threats. And today I watched some news in Arabic on BBC and stuff like that, that she been arrested and being investigated by 7 investigators, and that she will face the court at 18 of this month, I think for
Yeah,
5 days.
that's not
And
great
she
actually.
said this is,
Yeah, keep on.
and there's somehow still not clear. Like people say, it's like some people it's still saying it's not clear if she been writing that or somebody else. There was a man they show it was a BBC interview that he could may have written it. Um, I don't know. I hope that she get free without being destroyed for a fun text we write it, put on the internet.
Yeah. شافق جان من تو استودیو هستم بهت مسیج میدم تو فیسبوک لطفا. Sorry, that was a friend of mine. I think she would like to also participate in the seminar. The thing is, we have to consider the situation of the ex-Muslim are facing at the moment. By the use of these things, saying like you have to respect the holy rituals, and then you have to respect the rules that is forced by the government, by the Islamic government, to most of the ex-Muslims. They basically try to protect Islamism and like the whole like emperor, Islamic emperor they have made. Um, Respecting Islamic rituals, in fact, is respecting the Islamic sexism, anti-human, anti-LGBTQ sort of rituals and laws, misogynistic rules and like laws that we have, anti-kid sort of culture and tradition things, anti-animal sort of rituals. So basically, my point is, you cannot respect like all sort of belief, and like you cannot respect all sort of ideology that can be seen that they are against humanity. Like, that's what I'm saying, blasphemy should be recognized as one fundamental right to all the people. um, but we have to fight for it. This is, I think this is one of the duty that all the ex-Muslim, me, you, Ahmed, and the people watching at the moment this seminar should be keen about. that blasphemy is not a crime. At the moment, we have like so many atheist prisoners in the Middle East. They are under the pressure, they are imprisonment because they have made jokes about, for example, Prophet Muhammad or like some other holy characters in Islam. This should be recognized as one fundamental rights in Middle East, North America, Europe, and all around the world. So yeah, that's my first point. Blasphemy should be recognized as one fundamental right for everyone. Sorry about that. I'm trying to invite Shaparek Shajarizadeh so she would come to this video. And then the second point would be Amna is did a great job in my point of view. She was like she just tried to challenge the like Islamic sort of belief, saying Quran is something unique and you cannot make jokes and you cannot make anything similar to the verses of Quran. She just like made sort of a surah or like a chapter in Quran and tried to prove that first of all, Quran was written by human beings. So everyone who can talk and read in Arabic, most probably he or she can make something similar to the Quran. And second of all, she was trying to like compare the situation religious institutes are facing due to the coronavirus at the moment to the to the modern world, the discourses and the issues that we have in year 2020. No one really care about the tradition, the like a religious tradition sort of things. We all like even like a radical Islamists. They believe in like a modern scientific achievements, I would say. Ahmed, I think Shaparak is with us. I'm trying to invite her. Shaparak Shajarizadeh. Hi there, Shaparak. Very welcome to our seminar. I'm very pleased that you join us today. How you doing? You okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm thankful that you invite me to this discussion. First, I want to just hear the opinion of other participants. Then I guess I will talk about the issue.
Sure thing. Sure thing. We have Ahmed Shervan, atheist, ex-Muslim, kafir, I would say, activist here in this seminar from Germany. Ahmad Shaparak is well-known figure, very famous activist regarding the compulsory hijab law that we have in Iran, Saudi Arabia, and so many other countries in Middle East. So if you just Google Shaparak Shajarizadeh, there want to be like a bunch of photos. Right.
I guess there's something wrong with the sound.
I'm definitely an ex-Muslim. I'm not sure if I'm an atheist or not, but I'm an ex-Muslim.
Okay. All right. You're definitely an ex-Muslim, I guess. Right. Okay. So far, we've been talking about the right of blasphemy, the like a freedom of speech. So people should be free to express themselves in the way that they want. So Ahmed, do you have anything to say about the blasphemy things?
There's, as we know, there's kind of 13 countries who's like officially you get killed for being non-believer, for being murtad, believing the Islam. And in my case, like in Iraq, it's like not that official, but because it's always the community is always involved also in that. It's not only the laws, like the people crazy and kill you, like that's how it works there. It's not like officially, as I said, it's like this 13 countries, but like many other people are facing this torture, getting killed. Myself had this 15 where my dad reported me to the police for writing my very first text about the Prophet Muhammad. That he was a rapist, an asshole, and stuff like that.
Yeah, the thing is, you point out like in 13 countries, you can be in jail only because of blasphemy, only like if you criticize Islam or like make jokes about the like, holy rituals, what Muslim believe in. Uh, my point is like even in Europe and North America, if you start criticizing Islamism, you're not safe. Just have a look at the case of Charlie Hebdo. Those ISIS soldiers, warriors, I would say, killed some of the best cartoonists we know, only because they make like a cartoons and jokes about the Prophet Muhammad. So not even in,
I
I mean,
can't hear your voice. I can't hear your voice clearly.
all right, I'm hoping like there's like my voice would be all right quite
I
soon.
guess it's Ahmad's connection, internet connection, because I have your voice clearly, but not Ahmad.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, my point is not even in Europe, like you can feel 100% safe if you try to do like something like criticizing religion or like talk about the holy rituals of the Muslims. You can just have a look at the case of Charlie Hebdo. Like blasphemy against Islamism is sort of a crime all around the world. By the way, we have Jenny joining us. Jenny is the founder of Feminine Organization in Sweden. She's also very active, not protesting, and a very well-known figure in Scandinavia. I'm very happy to have you here in this seminar, Jenny. Very welcome to our seminar. If you hear me, I would like to say I'm very pleased to have you here.
Thank you. I hear you. Thank you for letting me be part of this fight.
Thank you very much. I know you're not a very talkative person, but I'm very pleased that I have you over here. I guess Ahmed has some sort of problem with the internet, but in the seminar at the moment, we have Shaparak Shajarizadeh and Jenny, which is great, actually.
It's a pleasure to meet Jenny. Yeah, in person, somehow in person, through internet.
After the coronavirus crisis, that's how can people actually meet in person. It's going to be online anyway. We try to discuss about, so far we try to discuss about the right of blasphemy, that people should be free to express themselves in the way that they want to. Everyone should be free to criticize Islamism and like Islamic holy rituals. Amna Al-Sharghi is another victim of the blasphemy law in Middle East and in other Islam-stricken countries in the world. We're here today to protest against the brutal law and the brutal, how to say, reaction that the Tunisian police made against Amna. So,
can I say something?
Sure.
Mila? I guess we have different issue regarding like Islamism and Islam and political Islam. One is the first one, and the most important one is the Muslim countries who have these cruel rules about criticizing Islam in any way. Regarding this poet, I guess I didn't even see it as a joke. It was just like it wasn't criticizing Islam. It was some kind of for me it was a poet, just a poet. But you know, in these countries, these kind of rules against people who decide not to practice Islam anymore is against human rights. And I wonder how come these countries, some of these countries, are the member of the United Nations, And you know, when you want to member of an organization, you have to accept the rules of that organization, and the things that they are practicing in their laws are against the human rights constitution of human rights. They accepted those rules in the United Nations, but at the same time they execute, they torture, they prison these people who converted like from Islam to other religion, or like decided not to practice, not to believe in God. This is one part of the like blasphemy. The other part that you see even in the Western country is the serious propaganda these Islamists have even in Western country. You know, in these countries, people are free to criticize Jesus, to criticize Moses, to criticize all the other religion, even Buddhism, that we consider one of the like most peaceful, like I don't know, spiritual or religious thing, but they are people are free to criticize this kind of religious practice. But every time someone talks about the Prophet Muhammad or talks about Islam, at that moment they're gonna be attacked, but by Islamists, and in some serious occasions, their lives are in danger. You cannot tell the slightest things about Islam, or like the bad things that the Muslim countries do to their people, and that's another thing, and it's going on around the world. Since I became an activist, starting with fighting forced hijab, compulsory hijab, and still I'm against compulsory hijab, and I guess. I don't guess. This is the fact. Millions of women are facing violence every day in Muslim countries because of hijab. And every time I want to talk about hijab, I myself, I'm accused of an Islamophobic person.
Islamophobia, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not an Islamophobic. I'm an ex-Muslim, but I have the right to criticize the bad rules of Islam. This is a religion that was practiced. We have to be honest. That was practiced 14, 15 centuries ago, and this is not right for right now. I'm not criticizing Muhammad for like getting married with a child, with a teenager, because maybe in that time it was okay. But I think it's not when the situation that we are now, with the knowledge that human have right now, marrying a minor is a crime.
That's a
Know
very
that.
fair point. I mean,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right, Shoprak. Like, in Western societies here in Sweden that we live in and North American countries, you can criticize Jesus. You can say whatever
Yeah.
you want to. Like, if you just like put like have that banner saying like Jesus is gay, everyone's perfectly fine with it. People would laugh at it. But as soon as you start saying Muhammad is gay or like Allah is gay, then you will see like a big range of threats coming to you. I think it's because like the Islam has not been criticized yet. I mean, it's a new chapter, it's a new era of criticizing Islamism and Islam. That's why it's a new thing. In case of Amna has not done anything wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, as you said, Shoprak, it was like a normal poet or like a normal criticize, I would say. Right?
A genius, yeah, a genius form of poet, yeah.
True, and like why she should be actually in prison? Why like such a brutal punishment should come to a person like her, young girl who just want to be free and express herself in the way that she would like to. Um, just by the way, Shaheen is here. Shaheen is the admin of the Atheist Campaign. on Instagram. Over 16,000 people following him on the Instagram, and also Jenny is back to us. Guys, if you want to participate in the things that we're talking about, the floor is yours. Feel free to just talk if you like. Shaheen, for example, would you like to say
Hey,
something?
yeah, hey, I just say hi
What
to
do you think about the blasphemy right? I know you're very active regarding the Sohail Arabi case, yeah? What do you
yeah.
think about this blasphemy sort of behaviors, uh, like sort of behaviors that Muslims doing, and they not recognize blasphemy as a right of everyone? What do you think about the right of expressing and criticizing religion?
Actually, I have to say, blasphemy is not something illegal. It shouldn't be something illegal. But unfortunately, we see in Islamic lands, Islamic countries, it's something like taboo, and not just in Islamic countries, and even in European countries, we see that when we criticize Islam or we criticize Muhammad or about this, what he has done, actually we get lots of threats and lots of that is not just for Amna. We have lots of Amna in the world that they have such a problems. They have actually they get they become threatened. They get killed, or because of just criticizing or and saying something that they want. We have, for example, we have Sohail Arabi in Iran, and lots of people like Sohail Arabi. They just criticize Islam. They hasn't done something wrong. They just criticize something bad, something that is not good, actually, for humanity, and even for Muslims. Actually, when we criticize Islam, when we talk about Islam, it's not just good for other people from other religions or people without religions. It's actually good for Muslims also, because
That's true. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a really fair point.
they are, and they have problem, and not just women. Actually, when we talk about Islam, lots of people say it's just women, but I believe those people who become terrorists when after some years, and those people were kids, and their parents or their ancestors try to read Quran in their ears, and these people I believe these people are kind of naive people who became who try to ruin their life, try to do like try to explode themselves because of something imaginary. And I believe these people are some naive people, and I good for them also. But blasphemy, actually, right now, is something that is taboo in all over the world about Islam, I believe, because even in Europe, when we talk about blasphemy, when we criticize it, even not just Muslims, Europeans also. I've seen lots of Europeans also that they attack us, and they believe that we are kind of some racist, but we are not racist. Actually, we are criticizing. We are just even if we insult it, we are insulting something bad, something that the Quran is actually something. In Quran, we have lots, about 531, I believe, sentences that tells that we can kill non-Muslims, and
True.
when
Yeah.
we read yeah,
Yeah. Thank you, Shohin. That was a very fair point. I would like
and
to.
when we read these, yeah,
Yeah, keep on. I would like to actually ask Jenny to join the discussion. Like, I think Jenny is running out of internet, so I would like to give her the chance to talk before she disappears. Jenny, I know you're very active actually regarding the women's situation. And you also have been receiving so many death threats and nasty words, misogynistic words from the Islamists recently. I was just like checking your Instagram. I noticed they've been like keep attacking you. What do you think about the situation of Amna, and what do you think about the right of blasphemy?
For me, it's very obvious, as I grew up in a country that is secularized since a long time, that it's obvious that God and the believers of God should have a lot more integrity than Islamists have, and not be so sensible. Because if their God was really so powerful as they feel, why would they be so hurt by some little activist like me? So I think they're really very...
You're not a little activist, by the way. I really appreciate what you're doing. You're very massive and you're very effective, just to let you know.
Thanks. I feel that Islam and Islamists are very immature. It's a recent religion, and that's why other religions from patriarchy have developed a bit more and accept blasphemy more. It's an immature religion, and its followers in Islamism, I'm not saying all Muslims, but the Islamists, the radical people, I find them very immature. And they also cannot think for themselves. They always refer to the Quran without thinking for themselves. In an argument, there is no logic. And I just like to point out in my conversations with them when they attack me, how big the lack of logic is in their arguments. And of course, I support Amna. Now we have the Corona situation. I think in a normal situation, it would be a typical trial for us to go to the court and make a FEMAN action 28th of May in Tunis for her. And I heard you spoke about Charlie Hebdo before. I felt very strongly when it was the case of Charlie Hebdo, that was our most close colleagues in FEMAN, that the support from normal people who are not involved in religion is very important. My comparison is with what we have in Sweden during the winter, when you are out on the ice, on a lake or on the sea. The way to approach if there is a crack and a hole and somebody falls in, it's to really spread the weight so that the weight is not on one point only. So you really lie down, you spread out the weight. And I feel it's the same thing that we should do to support the people that they are attacked by Islamists and that they are in serious threat. We should be many to spread out the weight and the threats against them, because if we are more people doing the same thing as Amna did, as Jilou made in Algeria, and all the other ones that we have cases in all Islamist countries, and even in countries that they're not Islamist, but where the Islamist culture is very strong, that we need to be more people, not only atheists and not only ex-Muslims, also people like me, to share the weight, to make the pressure coming from so many people that it's not all the weight on one person.
Yeah, true, actually. I would like to point out, I actually totally agree with you, Jenny. I think we belong to the same page. I would just like to point out the great painting of Mariam Navazi on your backside. So basically, it's like two people joining the seminar, not one. I would like to go back to Shaparak. Shaparak, you have Farshad Hossein is asking you something. I can read it. Yeah. Or
yeah. Please read it for the audience,
yeah, sure.
And I'm gonna answer.
Yeah, Farshad is saying, what do you think if the Canada's government would to practice the good Islamic route for Muslim in Canada. I mean, separate Islamic Penal Code from the National Civil Code. And then he continues, if we have some good Islamic rule is not good to practice for Muslim in Western countries, is there really some good route in Islam? That's the question he asked him.
Frankly, I don't like the new approach of the Canadian government toward Islamists. It's, I guess, the Canadian government is showing weakness toward Islamism. And thank you, Farshad, for asking these questions. But in Quebec, I guess they are more frankly showing the secularism in that region. But in other parts, we are watching like some kind of approach to the Islamists. For example, nowadays it's like I don't know, the members of parliament, when they want to like say happy Ramadan, they all of a sudden they all decided women to wear hijab for just a few moments, and it was outrageous because first it was, I guess it was an assault toward all the Muslims around the world. Not all the Muslims are wearing hijab, and the other thing is they just make fun of the women who are facing violence in Muslim countries because they were just wearing it for some minutes. I wonder if these people can wear hijab every day of their life. That's the way. And the other thing is, for example, I heard the news about a person who criticized the mosque near their house for having azan, for broadcasting azan, and he said, I'm not okay to hear this loud voice in my house. And there were some like bad backlashes from the governors against this guy, and I don't know, it was I didn't get through like the whole news, but it was not good. I don't like the way the Canadian government are dealing with Islamists. I guess they are getting more powerful in Canada too, and it's not good. And I wonder if they can take a look at the countries who are practicing Islam, you know, and these people who immigrate to Canada, they ran away from those countries, but now they want the same rules in Canada or in other Western countries. Last week we had this rally in England that there were some Islamists that they wanted to have Islamic rules in England, and this is horrifying. This is horrifying to see these people demanding Islamic rules in other countries. I wonder what can we like escape in a few years if we have Islam around the world. But at the same time, I want like I was agree with Jenny, with Jenny. The thing that we can do, that we have to get united and like continue advocating for these people and put pressure on the United Nations, put pressure on the human rights organizations to advocate for these people, to advocate for Sohail, to advocate for all the people around the world who's been harassed or who's been in prison for criticizing, for expressing their beliefs, for expressing their opinions. We have to like do more and advocate more for human rights, just basic human rights. And one of these is the freedom of expression, and the United Nations has failed, I guess, has failed
Precisely
about these people in those countries. The United Nations have to be more serious about the Islamic laws in these countries. because these laws are against the Constitution of Human Rights.
It's true, actually. I think one of the issue and the problems we atheists, ex-Muslim are facing is the policy followed by the European and North American countries. They actually recognize the radical Islamism. They actually do not support ex-Muslim, atheist, free thinkers coming from Middle East. So basically, if Amna is in prison today, it's because the blasphemy is not recognized by the Western countries, and they don't support the Islamists. They don't support the ex-Muslims and atheists coming from Islamic-stricken countries. For example, regarding the situation we have in Iran, the Islamic regime of Iran has the best sort of connections with many countries in Europe. They have mosques, they sending imams, they have economic welfare. So basically, anytime that the people of Iran are protesting against the government, against the brutal Islamic rules, the government in Europe and North America do not really support the Iranian people. And that's part of a problem. That's the things we can do. We all live outside the countries. We have to, how to say, try to like draw attention, draw public attention to the situation of people like Amna Al-Sharghi, Suhail Arabi, and many other ex-Muslim who are in prison right now, to put pressure on their governments, to put pressure on the parliamentarians to change the policy and stand on the side of the people. It's really sad to say we have this parliamentarist, Amina Kakabava, for example, which is a good friend of mine. I'm always try to criticize her, try to force her to be more radical against Islamism. And then she started to criticize just a few things against Islamism here in Sweden. And the Vänsterpartiet, the left party that she used to be a member of that, the left party in Sweden, they kick her out. Amina doesn't have any political party at the moment, only because she criticizes against the like getting married with kids or like hijab for kids, etc., etc. My point is, we need more people to support us. There are so many of us. I believe, I'm pretty sure the good people, the lovely people of Europe and North America, the 99% of the people will stand on the side of us if they hear about this story that we have. All we need to do is just like be united, try to raise our voice, run such a seminars, participate with seminars and organizations who support the ex-Muslim, and hopefully we can change the situation so no one would be in prison, no one would get tortured because of blasphemy. If anyone would like to say something, the floor is yours.
I guess we all right now, the people in this discussion, we are living in like democratic country. So I guess one of the things that we have to do, and in these countries, everyone has a voice, and we have to use our voice and to put more pressure, as you said, on the people who has the influence in the governments. We have to connect them, try to connect them, and make reasons with them, and talk about that the things we are telling each other. We have to discuss these matters with them. Like as an ex-Muslim, I'm not against either Islam or Muslim. I'm not Islam. I criticize Islam because I don't find the rules based on human rights. But I'm not against the Muslim, but I'm against the Islamists because they are the dangerous people in the world. And unfortunately, the world just ignore the fact that these people, that Islamist people, are the most dangerous groups in the world right now. This is my opinion. And just the world is ignoring this fact. And yesterday, I'm going to send the picture to you. Yesterday, Yasmin Mohammed, I don't know if you know her. She's a famous ex-Muslim activist in Canada.
I think most of the people in this seminar know her.
Yeah, and she posted a picture of it was a beautiful picture. I guess a woman was getting stoned, and there were other peoples around that incident, and they look like different races, like European, different races, and they were just turning their back at that scene. It was just they decide to look the other way, and this is the fact that is happening around the world. That the world is turning their back on the Islamist groups and try not to do anything about that. And we have to get united and make discussions with the important people in our government. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to ask something from Jenny. Jenny, as a Swede, how you see the reaction when you start criticizing Islam? I've heard so many Europeans saying, like, as soon as they start like talking about Islamism and criticizing the Islam, they always say like you're racist or you like Islamophobic. What's your actual experience? How was your experience regarding criticizing Islam in Sweden?
Yes, that's my experience also. And I started FEMEN Sweden. The actions, I started making them in 2013 for Amina, who started FEMEN in Tunisia, and was first kidnapped, and then she was jailed, and she was risking many years in prison for starting FEMEN in Tunisia and making this FEMEN photo where she said that her honor, her body is not the honor of somebody else. And then we had three of our activists from Europe also in prison in Tunisia, and that's when I started making actions. So I was contacted by journalists in Sweden, and at that point they didn't know the difference between Islam and Islamism. So when I criticized Islamism, they immediately didn't understand that there is a difference between the fundamentalists and like the Muslims that just mind their own business and have their own private faith. They didn't understand the concept of the theocracy and the whole problem. So yes, I was early labeled racist and I early got threats. I think the only good thing about ISIS is that it made people aware of the difference between Islam and Islamism. Also journalists in Sweden.
True. Yeah, I think that's keep on going. Yeah, the floor is yours.
Okay. So the people that I really appreciate in Sweden is the refugees from Islamist countries, because they are against racism. As I mean, it's obvious they come to Sweden as refugees, so of course they are against the racism that they are met by, but they are also against Islamism. And I really value and appreciate these people because they have a knowledge, like from Iran, they have this knowledge of how fast a country can turn from a free country into a regime that has now been going on for more than 40 years. So they have a knowledge that we who have lived without oppression for so long lack, which makes Swedish people naive and unaware. And I wanted to say about what you were talking about before, Milad, that's something that I think is very important that you can do to make more people that they are not engaged now to actually understand and to not call us racists, is to do more and more and more, always more translations of those videos that come out from imams who are talking. Because when you see what they say, which makes completely no sense and which is utterly racist and misogyn most of the time, when we can actually see the translations, it makes a big difference. So I think this is something that can be really done, more translations, and then it's easier to share for more people to see it. And another thing I want to say about language was when you were talking about Amina Kakabaveh, that is a friend of mine and that I also appreciate her fight, and I feel very bad for what has happened to her. I have also lost my political party. I was a name for the Green Party before, but because I'm a feminine activist, I'm not welcome. And what happened with Amina, I think, is something that also needs to be considered and talked about, because it was a lot based on language difficulties. She's in Sweden and she's doing her best speaking Swedish, but it's very clear that she's not speaking perfect Swedish for a Swede. And I think it's actually racist to not take in count that she and many others cannot express themselves in perfect Swedish, and therefore there can be these misunderstandings that make people label her as a racist. Because if she knew Swedish perfectly, I think this mistake would not have happened, where people, because of the way she expressed herself and lacking the perfect Swedish, she makes expressions that it's not problematic in Farsi, or it's not problematic if she could express herself correctly, but because she doesn't, people misunderstand because they go by her words instead of trying to understand what she really wants to say, that you would do normally if you're not a racist and you try to listen to somebody who came to the country as a refugee and wants to express themselves. So I think this part is missing when it comes to Amina, and probably it happens in other countries too.
The thing is, regarding the Amina case, I mean, you're absolutely right, Jenny. She has a language problem and she couldn't, like, defeat herself in the way that she was supposed to. But what I'm saying is, like, Amina Kakabava and people like Amina Kakabava in a more radical version, I would say, for men, people like you, they and you, I think you guys represent the anti-religion lefties movement, I would say. And the main government, the main establishment here in Sweden, Europe, and North American countries, they do not really recognize, they do not really tolerate the mentioned movement, these sort of lefties who are radical against religion, and I would say systematic, like capitalistic systematic, that how to say, justify religion and justify like Islamism, like being active in Europe and North America. That was the main point, and they wanted to get rid of Amina somehow. So they used the problem that she has regarding the language to have an excuse to kick her out, and they did. I do remember there was like so many rumors before that they would like to get rid of her somehow, and finally it happened one day. The point is, the problem for ex-Muslim and for atheists is the government in Europe do not really recognize their rights, do not really support them to actually criticize Islam and to use the right of freedom of speech. And that's also a part of our problem. We have to put pressure on the government. I think Ahmad is here. I'm not really sure how things going on with Ahmad. He's been connected and disconnected many times. But Ahmad, if you hear me, welcome back. Regarding the things that we think, if you have something to say, please say it. Otherwise, I have a question from Shaheen.
Could you please replay what you said?
Do you have anything to say? Would you like to add anything to the discussion we have? If not, I can move on with. Do you have anything to add to the discussion that we have? If you would like to talk, the floor is yours. Otherwise, I can move on with Shaheen. I have a question from Shaheen.
Farshad has a question from other guests as well, Milajan.
Actually, I can just say, I think I answered that question somehow regarding the policy that the Swedish government and the European government are following. If Shaheen would like to answer that question, he can do that. Otherwise, I have a question from Shahin. Shahin is also an atheist activist here in Sweden. Shahin, how the society, how the government and the people recognize you as an ex-Muslim, as an atheist who's coming from Islamic-stricken countries? How was your, how to say, experience living in Sweden as an ex-Muslim?
Actually, in Sweden also, I thought in Sweden it will be easier for me, but it's kind of easier. But when I criticize, but I still get some threat. And a couple of days ago, a person that I used to know, he just threatened me to just kill me. And not just the guy that he used to do that. He did that about a couple of months ago. A woman that she didn't have a job also, and she used to leave. And I'm sorry. And she used to live in a democratic country, and she came here, but she was Muslim. She threatened me to kill me. And this is from the side of some Islamists, and sometimes they're not just Islamists, and sometimes they're not extremists. There are some people that live in a society, but at the time that we criticize Islam, it's kind of something like honor, that it just overflows from their body and overflows from them, and they just become angry, and they just become red, and they just want to attack you, and and if they don't attack you, they just insult you. And this is from the side of some Islamists, we can say, if this is the correct word. And from the side of European people, actually, I see sometimes they call it culture. The Islam, actually, if it's even though it's a culture, it's a bad culture. If we can criticize racism, so we should criticize Islam also. We should criticize other bad ideologies also. It shouldn't be forbidden for us, because when we criticize racism, everything is fine. Actually, no one attacks us. But when we criticize Islam, everyone wants to attack us, even Muslims or non-Muslims. And the non-Muslims call it culture, and Muslims, so it's their religion, and it's forbidden. Actually, I'm mixing the Swedish, and it's forbidden to criticize it. And this is not right. This is actually not right, and I believe we need more support from some government, from European government. We people who are active against Islam and Islamism, actually, we need more support, because yes, some of us ran away from our countries to Europe, but still we are in danger in these countries. Still, some Islamists may attack us. Still, as we see it, actually, lots of journalists in Turkey or other countries, they just get killed because of just criticizing Islam or Islamism, or actually Islamists. And
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Regarding the point Jenny said about the translations, we're always trying to translate the content that we post on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So as Jenny correctly mentioned, people would understand what's really Islamism mean, so they would not label us as racist. But Jenny, I think Shoprak doing the same thing. Like, I've noticed Shoprak always translate the post on her Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook page. Jenny, Farshad has a question for you. Farshad is asking, what do you think, Jenny, about practicing Islamic rules in family? I mean, to the Muslims' children and wife. Then they may not Islamists, but in the family, they force their children to have hijab. That's the question Farshad is asking.
Yes, thank you for this question, Farshad. First, I want to just comment on what Shaheen said. I'm sorry that you were attacked. And this is another thing I think is necessary, because now, for example, in Sweden and in many countries, people are more aware than before about how women are treated in the Islamist and in the Muslim culture. Maybe not so much children. I will come back to that. But then there is all the men like you, and that they are refugees, and we see too little about this in the news. This kind of attacks, how people who are refugees from Islamism are attacked in countries, even if they are not women, because we see more about women. So this is another thing. I think we need to contact journalists and let this come out more. And now to the question. I'm a strong advocate for the Children's Rights Convention. I totally believe in that we are individuals, also as children. So I am fully against any parents trying to force their children away from their own individual personality, and it doesn't matter if they're Muslim or not, but it's a big problem that it's so strong in the Muslim culture that they have the idea that they kind of own the children. I've been in discussions on internet sometimes about school, what they are taught in school, and then I see parents, Muslim parents, finding that they have the right to decide and to like contact the teacher and the school and force the teacher to not teach these things or not decide these things. And well, I guess in this I'm very Swedish and very individualist and very much believing in children's rights. So I've been working a lot with children in Sweden who are refugees and whose mothers have to run away from the men and live hidden and in sheltered homes. And yeah, I'm sad to see how it goes so deep down in the ages that young boys, 6-7-year-old boys, are controlling their sisters already, and not only their sisters, also other girls around them. And this is not enough. There's just not enough knowledge about this.
True. Guys, thank you very much, Jenny. I think we're running. I mean, it's like 1 hour. We're running a seminar. If there is anyone would like to add something, please do. Otherwise, keep your eyes open on our Facebook page. We try to like talk more about Amna's situation. We're most probably gonna have a petition regarding her situation. So we try to do as much as we can to put him and save Amna out of prison. If you guys have anything to say, please do.
Yes.
Otherwise, yes, Jenny, the floor is yours.
Yes, I think it was a good idea. I think it was you, Shaheen, who made the hashtag verse like Quran. I think it's a good idea if more of us make verses also. Like I said in the beginning, if this is not only 1 or 2 or 3 people that made this blasphemous act, but many of us make verses like this, and yeah, I want to see more campaigns, more blasphemy campaigns.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
More questioning.
Yeah,
Definitely.
exactly.
Thank you.
We need more and more people support us, and we together. Actually, we are stronger together, not alone. Actually.
I was wondering if you have any. I guess I don't know if there is already a group or something, but if there is not, we can have a group in Twitter or anywhere else to support each other. If one of us tweet about it or have a post on social media, so the other one can see and share those posts more and more. I guess this is one of the good thing that we can do to support each other, to have more audience seeing our post and the things that we have to say about this like blasphemy.
True. I think that's also a great idea. The thing is, we at the Central Committee of Ex-Muslim would definitely try to, as I said, to post more news about Amna's situation and the other people who are in jail or under torture because of criticizing Islam. I think that's for today. Thank you all. Thank you very much, all of you guys participating in seminar. Shaheen, Jenny, Shaparak, Ahmed, and all the people watching here, watching the seminar online. Atiye, Farshad, Shahab. I can see some other people has joined and watched the seminar online. And for those of you who watched the seminar later, thank you for watching. My message would be like, just join us, try to be active and get united. I think there's so many of us and we can change the world. We can be the victory, and we can actually make a world where no one can be in torture and prison because of blasphemy, because of criticizing any sort of religion. Thank you guys very much, and best wishes for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great time.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Have a good